Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So I don't know about you, but I am completely done with winter. I need some spring in my life, so I found these spring craft kits from Target and I cannot wait to color them in, to paint them, and to create them. So let's get right into today's video creating these spring craft kits because I need some spring. The first thing that I'm going to do, of course, is open up this little craft kit. So this one in particular comes with this little flower and then this part where you attach it and then the flower can stand up, which is just super cool. And then it also obviously comes with some paints and a paintbrush. So all of these paints are very pastel. They were very hard to open, but they look super cute and fun and promising. And then they were very hard to open, but I finally got it open and started painting my design. So I knew that I wanted to do a pink flower and keep it really light and fun and very spring, so that's what I started working on. I made the middle a white, kind of yellow off-white, and then I went ahead and just added in pink all around the petals, mixing white with it and just dipping it directly into the paints. The good thing about having it come with its own little paint set is you can kind of mess them up a little bit and it doesn't matter as much, so I was trying to get away with that a little bit. And then I decided to add in a little bit of shading and try to make it look a little more 3D. I want to keep this really simple because I love the playful effect of it, but I also wanted to add in a little bit more detail as well. That way it wasn't just a two-dimensional looking 3D-ish flower. So that was my goal for this. I added in some little orange highlights in there too to give it a little more warmth and so it wasn't as flat. And then I decided why not kind of play on my style a little bit and add in some highlights and details. So I added a whole bunch of dots in the middle of the flower, and then I even added some strange looking highlights around the entire flower as well, just to add to that effect and to kind of make it a little more my style. So now it's time to work on the base for this flower, which we're obviously going to do green for the stem of the flower. Now, the green that they gave us was a little bit cold, and like I said, I am done with winter, so I decided to grab some yellow and warm that base up a little bit more and just make it feel like more of a spring green instead of a mint green. I really wanted to scream warm, summer, pastel, fun vibes, so then I had to color match it to the other part of the base, which is what helps it stand up, and obviously I painted the sides as well because we're a professional, like I say, and we gotta keep it classy over here. So then after that, it was finally time to start working on the other side of the flower once I had completed the stems, and I have to be honest, I had zero plans for what to do, but I knew I wanted to use even more pink. So I started with this really hot pink, which to me is more of a summer pink than a spring pink for sure, got the white even more messed up, and then I went ahead and added in some white to kind of blend out some of that pink, added in some yellow to create some orange gradient, and then added even more white to soften everything out a little bit more, make it all a little lighter and a little more spring rather than neon summer. So then after that, I thought, let's just be really fun with this. It doesn't have to look exactly like a flower. We've already got a flower on the other side. So I just decided to add a whole bunch of little white clouds on this one just to have a really fun and different design and kind of be a little more artsy with this side and not so serious about it. And then it was time to paint the edges to complete this flower. And here's a little sneak peek, but I'll show you more later, but it turned out so cute. The stand was a little hard to get on, but once I did, it was super cool and exciting. But now it's time to move on to the next craft kit for now, which I'm taking out of the package. It came with the same paint, so I'm just going to continue using that one since this is really hard to open. This is to glue the flowers on. There's some paint brushes, and here are all these little flowers that you glue on separately after you paint them. So now let's get into the painting. I decided to take this one color at a time and started with green to color in all of the leaves of the flowers. For this kit, I was really trusting the color palette that they gave me because I really wanted it to work out and all go together, so I trusted that what they gave us should go together. So now it's time to paint some flowers. I started with a couple of these orangey pink ones first, adding in probably a little bit too much detail, but it was fun, and I also wanted some more of the foliage that was on there, like the leaves, to be more dark colors colors and incorporate those a little bit. So I added in some gray to some different kinds of leaves, and then it was time to paint even more pink. I tried to do a similar method to the first flower that I did and add a little bit of orange and white here and touch up a couple areas, add in even more gray foliage, and then it was time to work on other flowers. So for these flowers, I didn't take it as detailed. I just kind of did flat colors to see what would happen and see how that would turn out. I did add in a little bit of color every now and then to mix things up a little bit, but for the most part, I used the paints straight out of their containers and then just put them directly onto this little thing. And I had no idea where each color should go. I kind of just played it a little bit of a color at a time and came back to it if I felt like there needed to be more colors on there of that same color, if that makes sense. So for example, I have this blue flower here, painted it blue, a beautiful blue by the way, like stunning. But then after I painted this blue, I would skip around, find a couple more to paint blue, and then after that I decided I should probably start painting the flowers that go in the middle as well, the ones that go on after we're done painting here. So I decided to grab a couple of those and just make them a variety of colors, pink, yellow, and blue, just to mix things up a little bit and have a variety that I could grab and glue on afterwards. And if you don't know quite what I'm talking about, it will make sense later on, so just keep watching. But then I decided it needed more pink and more brightness, so more yellow and more light pink. I didn't want the hot pink anymore. I was done with that. That was kind of intense. But anyway, I decided to add in a whole bunch of light pink flowers, light blue flowers, and light yellow flowers to try and make it pop a little more. I just felt like everything was really dark and not as light and bright as I wanted it to be, and not as pastel, because I want this to be spring. So then after that, it was time to start finishing up this design with the yellow, which I think really made it pop. Yellow is such a bright, fun color, and it definitely needed some brightness. So this color helped a lot. And then it was time to add in some yellow on the flowers as well, just to really brighten everything up and have some options for more brightness later. But now it was time to finish up those little tiny flowers with different colors. So I just took some yellow, added it onto a couple of different flowers, and then continued to do that same thing with different colors to finish out all of those tiny mini flowers that I'm about to glue on top of this little kit. It did come with a little glue tube, which I used to glue the flowers onto it, and I just put the flowers anywhere that I felt was right, whatever needed more pops of color. If there was an area that I felt like was missing blue or pink or yellow or anything like that, I just put it on. And then once it was completed, you know I couldn't be done yet because I needed to add in a little bit more sparkle. So I used this gold gel pen to add on just a couple of little designs on top of some of the yellow spots in the flowers. I just felt like this would add a little touch that it really needed, just a little bit more detail to it. It was laying really flat to me still, even with the 3D flowers on it. So I wanted to add a little bit more design and texture to make it pop, and I even added a little bit of a sparkly green gel pen to some of the leaves as well to really make them pop too. And of course I had to add some highlights with my white gel pen as well. And then after I did that, it was finally completed, and I think it turned out so good, and I'm especially glad I added in some more details because I think those really made the difference. But here it is. I tried to show you some of the sparkle of the highlights, and then here is the little flower next to it. I love how these turned out so much, and they were so fun to create. So go to your Target and buy some and show me what you've made if you want, and tag me on Instagram at Anchored Art Designs to let me see your creations. Let me know which one of these was your favorite. I love this little stand-up flower. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy spring!